guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm here in the car this morning with Mr. Barney Boo. We are actually booked in to go swimming. Well, Barney's booked in to go swimming at a place where you can get in the pool with them, but he's in for his induction today. Tom saw on TikTok, he was like, we've got to go here and take Barney one day. So yeah, you basically hire out this like little pool which you can take your dog swimming with. But anyway, good fun. But he's booked in for his induction this morning, so we're pulled up. We're 10 minutes early, so I thought I would start the vlog here, introduce you all to a brand new video, and first and foremost ask you how you're all doing. I hope you are doing well. I'm also very kindly partnering with Green Chef on today's video, and I've just kind of been introduced to Green Chef. It's fairly new in our routine, but I have a delivery arriving today. Tom's working from home today, so he is there to take that delivery in. So we will have some yummy dinners for the next few nights for this week. I have also on my agenda today to do some antiques, thrifting, charity shopping, that kind of thing. There's a couple of really good antiques places around here. If you know this area, if you've seen on my channel before, I've been to housing units. They're near there. I'll take you anyway today so you can see them. In terms of the Green Chef, I do actually have a discount code as well that I wanted to mention now so that you are reminded. I'll leave a link to Green Chef along with my discount code and offer, which is Farrington40. That will get you 40% off your first box and 25% off the next 4 boxes. So a great offer, and one that is not to be missed. If you haven't tried it out before, then now's maybe the time to do so. And Green Chef, if you are totally new to it and have never heard of it before, it's a subscription service where you can get ingredients delivered to your house every single week. You can pick and choose from a selection of meals, and their focus is on sort of quality, wholesome, nutritious recipes that are protein rich, calorie smart, and definitely one to try if you're wanting to fill your body with goodness. The recipes are created by nutritionists as well, so it kind of takes out the need to like do the research and everything. And then it is one of those subscription models as well that you can pause or cancel anytime, say if you are going away, and that flexibility for us as a couple is key. So to get great quality food for good value, I will leave a link to Green Chef in the description box below, along with of course my discount code and offer for you guys. So without further ado, it is now 2 minutes till our appointment, so let's head on in. I think Barney, oh, I was going to say he's keen to go, but he's actually just laid down. Okay, after that fun swim session, we headed over to Antique World Manchester. This first place is called, and as you can see, it is a complete treasure trove of so many goodies. I love that little inkwell. I think that's what it was, £5. These little rustic pots I love. They were only £5 each as well. Old vintage rustic frames. I honestly am in my element in a place like this. I feel like I could just search and search for hours and hours and hours. Just get lost in the antiques world. Anyway, I loved this little old vintage postcards, which you could use as artwork as well. These little crock pots and jelly molds. Spotted some of those, what they called like clothes washing racks, old clothes washing racks. Then I popped across the road to the, I think it's called Empire World, Empire Antiques, something like that. They've got some big safes, like old safes outside the front, and then inside again it's another treasure trove. I saw these old magazines and I thought they'd be really fun to look back through for like old interior styles, but they weren't that old. They were only about dated 2020-ish. I loved that set of drawers. Would be perfect in a shop if you had one. Again, more treasure with lots of artwork, lots of kitchen bits and bobs, little mini glass pots. I thought these would be good to do a DIY matchstick pot. For only £1, you could buy some matches, just cheap ones, cut off the scratch pad and attach it to the bottom, and then have it displayed on a shelf somewhere. We're back home, first place. Doggy paddle champion awarded to Barney, very cute. He was exhausted by the end of the 15 minutes, and he said he's got an unusual swim style where his arse is quite buoyant. So his head is gulping a lot of water. He doesn't keep his head up because his bum is just out the water. So he's got a big booty. Yeah, got a bum. Apparently. He said usually when dogs are quite solid like this in Les, because he's got a lot of muscle, usually that kind of like weighs the bum down so that they can breathe out the water, but that his swimming style, he's sort of like his mouth is in the water the whole time. So he said don't, for him, for if you're throwing things in the water for him to fetch, balls and toys where he needs to keep his mouth open, to not do that. So he had, they had some toys there actually, which were like very thin so that they could close their mouth holding it. So he ended up playing with that, but yeah. You enjoyed it, didn't you? He was exhausted by the end. I think I traumatized him afterwards because he's not a fan of the hairdryer, and they've got this, in the changing rooms afterwards, they've got like human shower, but they've also got it right next to doggy shower. And thank you. And I turned the hairdryer on to dry him off. And they're loud, these things. And as I turned it on, I didn't have hold of it, and it was just going like all over the show, like if you imagine like a water hose out of control. And he was freaking out. I couldn't grab it to turn it off. So hopefully you won't be traumatized by that. But it seemed very busy. There were a few dogs after us already. So, oh, thank you. That was more of a punch in the face, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think we'll book in. And I think it's like a ½ an hour slot. So yeah, it should be good fun. Now that he's done his induction, we can do it. What have you got? That's your yogurt pot Daddy gave you this morning. It's empty. Promised I would show you our Green Chef options for the week, and we have opted for 3 meals for 2 people, but you can alter that depending on whether or not you're cooking for 4 people. Recommend if you want to add chicken, add salmon, add chicken, depending on the recipe. So this one is a favourite, the halloumi, ratatouille and pesto drizzle with roasted aubergine and courgette. That is a bit of us. This also sounds really good. I love aubergine. Honey teriyaki glazed aubergine tacos with avocado, pickled slaw and crispy onions. Feta and charred pepper bulgur wheat salad. Again, I love bulgur wheat and feta, and that just, to me, sounds delightful. And then obviously on the back, they've got the step-by-step instructions with imagery, the nutritional information, allergen breakdown, and then they've got them on the front there as well, so you can easily see. I mean, look at that. 4 of your 5-a-day portions straight away in one meal. Amazing. And all suitable for vegetarian. Let me know of those 3, which ones you would go for. Which one takes your fancy? En route home, I grabbed a Tim Hortons. I feel like raring to go and eager to get back to the thrifting, the antique shopping. The antiques places that I went to just now, though, I didn't actually buy anything from those, but they are a minefield. If you want to spend, honestly, you could spend hours at them. It is crammed, both of them are crammed full. I think they're called Old, well, you saw on the thing, that it's like Antique World Manchester, and then right opposite the road is Empire House Antiques. I think that's what they're called. Anyway, yeah, you could spend hours and hours, and honestly, I don't think I've been in maybe a year, and I recognised a lot of the same stuff. So I feel like they can't even, like, it's probably just the stuff that's been in there has probably been in there for years. There are like, it's one of those places that you can go, you can look around, and then you could look around 10 times and see new things each time. That's how much stuff there is. But if you like a good rummage, then maybe worth checking them out. The one that I do really like is Vintage Mill in Stockport. So I'm gonna head there. It's almost a similar scale, but a bit more curated. There's still loads of stuff and you could rummage for hours and hours, and it's near Stockport. So I think because it is a smaller scale, I feel like I can enjoy the shopping experience a bit more. Those two are a bit overwhelming. So anyway, came home via Tim Hortons with a French vanilla to sip on, and I'll probably take this back out with me. I'm just gonna get changed because I did get a little bit of swimming pool water on me whilst we were in that swim session, but yeah, it was really good fun. And like I said, Barney will sleep well. No need to walk them before that swim session. It was just a 15-minute one and he was exhausted by the end of it. So let's get changed, head back out to do some charity shopping and go to Vintage Emporium. I did come home to a little parcel. I bought these, this is like a suckered in on TikTok shop, and looking at them now, I don't know if I'm regretting this purchase. It was one of those TikToks that a girl was saying, girls, what are we wearing on our feet that we can walk around in all day that are comfortable, that aren't trainers? Because pretty sandals and things like that, you can't walk around for a long time in them. So yeah, I saw these. I think they're a bit of like a dupe for something, but they're very simple. But now that I've got them, I'm like, oh, are they a bit granny? But they're just straight over the foot, and then you put your foot in here, so they are supportive. But they've also got a supportive sole, so they feel quite squidgy and comfortable. They don't necessarily look as stylish as I thought they would. The way that they, let me just check for size and for comfort so I can say if they feel comfy. Okay, they do feel comfy, to be fair. Yeah, the sole is incredibly comfy compared to, say, my Birkenstocks or my Chloe sandals. And Birkenstocks aren't uncomfortable either. Okay, actually, I take that back. These are incredibly comfy. I feel like I could easily walk around for hours and hours in these. Okay, maybe they are a good purchase then. Just realised I've got 2 bags in my pockets. Yeah, maybe they are a good purchase. They had them in a few different colours, but I just thought for the most wearable colour to just go with the kind of taupe mushroom. I got them in a 40, like that elasticated material. Supportive sole. Okay, well maybe that is a good purchase. I just thought they looked a bit, maybe they do look a bit granny still, but anyway. I will get changed and head back out to the shop. I've come to the Vintage Emporium, which is in Stockport, and I have also been here a few times. I've been really inspired by a couple of American YouTubers, one in particular. I love her home style and her home decor, and she often goes out and about antiquing and thrifting, and out in America I feel like thrifting is a whole other level. Here in the UK we have our charity shops, but you really have to rummage and kind of go in with an open mind, and kind of go quite regularly as well, because quite often, in fact 90% of the times that I've popped in to see if I can find any treasure, I probably don't come out with anything. I'm gonna get out this hot car. It's 20 degrees today, and inside the car it feels a lot hotter. So I'm gonna get out, get some fresh air, head over to the mill, and we will see what we can find at the Vintage Emporium. I thought I'd do another voiceover to talk you through some of the finds within the Vintage Emporium. Again, yet another treasure trove of goodies here. I definitely prefer the more curated and smaller scale. I mean, obviously still you could spend hours, like I said, but loads of stuff to browse. These copper pans we were very tempted for. We were after some for our outdoor kitchen, and I even had those on hold and was calling Tom, sending him photos, seeing if he wanted them. He wasn't getting back to me, so I did leave them on that occasion. Of course, I got home and then he said, oh yeah, they would have been nice. But anyway, I've left them on this occasion. We can maybe go back and look for some more in the future. I love those little funnels. Silverware as well I'm enjoying, like that little candlestick, and these vintage like holy colander garlic pots. Cute little hotel reception bell. This milk churn I've seen in there a few times. It's £65 and it is huge. Lots of styling pieces as well, like these little binoculars that you can use in the theatre. This stand is always here, and they always have so many different crock pots for you to choose from. Vintage confit pots, and quite reasonably priced as well, I would say. I love that little tray. That was another thing that I was looking out for. Trays, and you know, to help curate things and style things in the house. Saw that little vintage wooden box that was quite cute, but it was a cigar box. Again, I saw a few of those cigar boxes. This little brass key holder was cute, and I love the personal touch that you get with vintage finds like this one. It even says "From Lucy" on the front, and does that not just take you back to Matilda when she's opening the chocolate box and she says much too good for children? I don't know why that made me think of that, but it did. Anyway, loved the wooden bowl here. I didn't see any prices on it though, so I did leave it. And these cute little silver goblets, how nice would they be? They'd need a bit of a polish up, but... And then I always have a good rummage through the books, mainly for styling purpose. Some of them are good books that I would actually enjoy having a good flick through and read. But like I said, mostly for styling, you can get some good bargains, and also for taking some artwork from these, for instance, these black and white line drawings. You could easily frame them. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind if you get bargain books, to be able to frame them as artwork. Anyway, this little sale find of £8, I'm assuming £4, 50% off for the little candle snuffer. Lots of, again, more kitchenware, old stoneware barrels, vintage frames. If you have a really textured wallpaper, you can even just put the frame up with no artwork in. And this blue and white I'm seeing everywhere. Love that for maybe olives. More jelly molds, there were loads on this stand, and this old wooden voting box I thought you could repurpose as a tissue box. Again, more cigar boxes, £7 for that one. It's kind of like a little wooden box you could use for styling, but also has a bit of detail on it. And I loved these trays. How pretty are they? Or plates. I don't really know what they originally intended to be used for, but loved those nonetheless. And this at £10. Again, what I was saying with taking cuts for artwork or for scrapbooking, these like old newspaper style books have just so much in that you could definitely repurpose. So anyway, just a little idea for you there. Loved this silver plated dish at £5. And I was also looking for kitchenware in terms of utensils, like unique utensils, like little mini forks and spoons and things that you could have that, you know, look a bit different. These Vanity Fair prints, which are like kind of, they're not mounted, but they have the border around them so they could go straight in a frame. I thought they were lovely and quite comical as well, some of them. More wooden boxes. This metal box I nearly went for. I honestly deliberated buying that for a while. I was just thinking, where could I use it? Where could I style it? More crystal and glassware in these cake stands, and this, what do they call it? A flower frog. They called it a rose one on the label there, but I guess you could use it for any flowers. But look at this, these ones are even monogrammed. How nice would they be to have? This one was only £2, a little tea caddy spoon. I saw some others, these little mini mustard ones. If they weren't £8, I would have got those, because I thought for a little jam pot or something they would be lovely. And then these rose detailed cake forks, I don't know why I'm drawn to them. The cake servers, slicers, everything. £4, this little vintage shredded wheat bowl. There were 2 of these cereal bowls. And again, sticking with that blue and white if you're a fan. I know it's becoming a popular trend. And this wooden tray, I loved the kind of steel corners that it had. It just again makes it a bit more unique. These profanity plates, just purely had to vlog these for entertainment, really. I'll let you read through those yourself. But yes, anyway, this is a major throwback for me. I had a set just like this, a Beatrix Potter set that my grandparents bought me. The Tale of Benjamin Bunny, Beatrix Potter. How beautiful is that dog? And that little plate rack. Also, these dog beds, I can't see the price. Is that £80? I can't remember. But they would be ideal if you're after like a wicker dog bed like I've got for Barney. They've also got a little tea room in here. And they even had that table of free crockery to take, which I've never seen before. So, well worth checking out if you want some free crockery to take. I loved this candelabra, £95. And this double depth storage box, £79. Seemed a bit steep, but it was beautiful. This I'm regretting not purchasing, I should say. I didn't pick it up, but that to stand some photos or some artwork on rather than framing it is a nice idea. I have spent so long in there. Oh God, my arm hurts. I've been carrying a couple of things in this arm the whole time, and it's like I've got cramp in my arm. I did also treat myself to a coffee and a piece of cake to go, which is a little bit naughty of me, but They had loads of cakes on offer, and there was one in particular, the lemon ice cake, that looked just like how my nana used to make it, and I was like, you know what, Nana's telling me to get a piece of lemon ice. Anyway, we are all done at the Vintage Emporium. I might head home via a couple of charity shops now, see what more bargains I can find. There's a cute little vintage shop in that I've seen, what's it called, Ons Atelier, I think. So I might pop in there with a couple of charity shops around there as well. So yeah, we will head there next and see what more goodies we can hopefully, fingers crossed, find. This is the shop Ons Atelier that I was telling you about, and some beautiful styled bits even outside the shop. But then headed straight into the charity shops. There was an Oxfam where I went, so always have a look through the books in Oxfam. I always think they've got a great selection. I really liked the simple cover on that poetry book. And then, guys, I couldn't believe my eyes when I found this next one. Are you ready for this? The Pottery Barn charger plates that I found in America, but in a gold version, were in the UK. You can't get Pottery Barn in the UK. So I couldn't believe, as soon as I saw them, I recognised them, and I thought, no way are they the same as the ones I picked up. I do prefer the colour I found, but yeah, couldn't believe that. Anyway, that is everything that I spotted in the charity shops. Let's jump into the haul. I was talking to you on Instagram a week or two ago about a kind of like identity crisis I was having in terms of like my home style, and that I have a selection of different styles that I like, and I always find it hard to know what to buy or where to put things or how to style things, because I'm like, in one mind I've got a very white company, minimal, clean lines, fresh, modern, and I've got the more rustic, home barn, vintage pieces that I find at like Arthur Swallow's antiques fairs, and then I've got the more like traditional Ralph Lauren home style with like some more pattern and print. And then like when we went to Dalesford and stayed in the cottages there, I was like, oh, they're beautiful. So I do kind of think to myself, I've got to sort of style the home for the age of the property as well. So kind of hone in on that a little bit. But I guess a mismatch of the same sort of thing. So the main thing across most of the styles that I like is that I'm fairly neutral, I suppose. Let me show you the bits that I did pick up. A real nice selection of bits. Okay, firstly, there was this little giftware shop that it's a giftware shop, so it's like cards and gifts that sell cards and gifts and, you know, jelly cats and things like that. This is the brand So & Co. They've got a few stores. She had a basket of stuff outside selling everything for £1, and I was like, let's have a little rummage through here. They're all in need of a bit of a scrub and a clean, but that's fine. Firstly, this vintage crock pot, which obviously you could use as like a utensils pot, you could use as a little plant vase, you could use it for like your cleaning brushes and things by your sink, however you really want to use it, even a pen pot in a office. And then there was also this vase. I mean, if I find that these things don't quite fit or I don't like them, I can always just redonate them and maybe give them to charity or something. But yeah, this vase, which again needs a scrub. It looks like it's been used as a plant pot outside, and it's got this beautiful detailing along the side with a kind of aged rustic brown. So anyway, £1 I'll pick that up for. And then the last thing that I saw for £1, this is kind of more along those lines of the Nancy Myers, Ralph Lauren Home, Martha Stewart, like kind of floral, pretty, dainty pieces that would fit in a kitchen that is suited to that. Again, there's a bits of soil in there, so I think they've used it as a plant pot, which also beautiful as a little plant pot. Okay, and then I went to, wow, how beautiful that they packaged it up so nice as well. So Ons Atelier, I think this one is a book. Yeah, this one's one of the books that I got. Country House Treasures, beautiful green cover, like country green with gold. Inside it is filled with lots of country house treasures, lots of black and white imagery, colour imagery of very like period properties styling. I think the books were £8, £5 to £8. Also got one more, again in the same sort of green. I feel bad that I'm just like ruining her packaging now, but anyway, this one's called The World Atlas of Treasure by Derek Wilson. So styled up with that book or with different colours, but I quite like the greens styled together. Give you a quick flick on the inside so that you can see The World Atlas of Treasure. When I first read it on the shelf, I read it as Cheshire, and I was like, oh, let me have a look through that, and I was like, ah, treasure, not Cheshire. These are 2 pieces that I got for framing, and I like the fact that they came with the border as well. Guaranteed to be over 80 years old, and it's got it's kind of like a farmyard scene. There's a cow, a couple of horses, some pigs in there, and yeah, just a little country feel to that one. This one was £10, and it's Southport, so not too far. In fact, we saw Southport when we went to the beach yesterday, and I quite liked this because Tom's surname is Lord, and this says Southport Lord Street. I love line drawings, especially when they're on this kind of cream, with the cream and the black border. This I thought was lovely, and I know you see things like this in Home Sense that are quite similar, but it was only £12, and I thought that was, well, it'll be cheaper than Home Sense ones. And it's just an illustration of a rose. This is a royal white rose in a wooden frame. And yeah, I think £12 for that is a steal. So I need to try and find a home for that. Even just, you know, to be used as a seasonal print. Then the Vintage Mill Emporium, the Vintage Emporium, I found 2 things. Firstly, this on one little stand, and it's a Christmas decoration, Christmas tree decoration, and it's a little Harrods bear. This was £5, and I thought this was so cute. You guys know I have like my fun little novelty tree where I have things like this, and I love Harrods, especially at Christmas time. And how cute is this little bear? Secondly, and lastly from here, this watches book. I think this was £4. Let me have a look at the receipt. Yeah, £4. And it's the complete price guide to watches, number 16, but it's dated 1996. Now, Tom is into his watches. He loves them. And I thought this would be a really interesting flick through. It is American, so the prices are in dollars. But I just thought it'd be really interesting for him to have a flick through. And this book is like, it's vintage, it's falling apart in a few places, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like Patek Philippe, one of his favorite brands. There's just so many interesting, and Rolex, another Patek. Because we want to kind of restyle his office space upstairs, which is more of a office walk-in wardrobe and bathroom that he uses up there, the full floor up there. It'd be quite nice to make it a bit more like his space by putting some artwork on the walls that are things that he likes. So we could do something like the Lord Street print. I've got an old vintage cricket print, he's into cricket. But even if you took a page from this and framed it, the illustrations of the watches, you could easily do that, and that would be really, really nice as well. 14 karat gold, $350. All these illustrations are beautiful. How nice is that if I could take that page and frame it? So anyway, £4. I thought, even if for nothing else, just a flick through for Tom to have a look at. And then to the charity shops now, and Cancer Research, I found this book. Got quite a few books in this video. This is National Trust Recipes. Oh, it has a cute little message. I love it when you find books in the charity shop with a little handwritten message. So this was dated 10th of August 1996, same year that that watches book, and it says to Liz on her 60th birthday from Tony and Janet. Again, a nice illustration there that if you wanted to, you could cut out and frame. Although, does it feel a bit criminal to be taking pages from a book just to frame them? But anyway, National Trust Recipes, loads of different places, which they have obviously spoken to their chefs, and there's none, I don't think, that are around us that we like to go to. I think most of these are based in the south, actually. Ooh, look at that nettle and watercress soup that you could forage the nettles. But look at all the illustrations. So each place that she's got, there's an illustration of the kitchen. So I again think that is so nice. And even the font that she's used, it's just a really beautiful book on the inside. It's a shame that the cover, I think, anyway, is as basic as it is, because actually this is a really nice book. Apple and cinnamon cake. I really need to have a sit down and flick through all of my favourite recipe books, again with the imagery, and bookmark some recipes to make. That was £1 that book, £1.50, and this one is again for more styling. I feel like it'll go really nicely with the other ones that I showed you for some added green and gold. And this one is sticking with the National Trust. This one is the National Trust Guide, 3rd edition. I mean, now we're National Trust members, and the National Trust guides that we get now do not look like this. Like a handwritten message on the inside, and this one says 50 today to our very dear Dad and Pa, with all our love and best wishes on your half century. From Sally, Chris, Katie and Andrew, 7th of September 1984. And it's got imagery in, it's got loads of different places. There will be some of the National Trust places in and around us. I'll tell you which one we like to go to quite a lot. Let's see if this is in here. Quarry Bank, Style, Cheshire. Pages 413, 428. Here we go. This is where we like to go, the Quarry Bank Mill. We go here quite a lot to walk Barney. Style Village, it honestly doesn't look any different. And these are photos, 1784. Okay, then Oxfam. I always think Oxfam is great for books. If you're looking for books for styling and old books to look through, I really wanted to find some old magazines, like fashion and house magazines. I found some in one of the antiques places, but they weren't that old, 2018 to 2020, and I wanted the 90s, you know, so that you can have a flick through of, say, I don't know, House and Garden or even Vogue or something, so you can see fashion and look back at how people's houses looked in the 70s, 80s, 90s, but I couldn't find any. But anyway, yeah, as I was saying, Oxfam I always think is a great place to have a look through for books especially, and I found these at £3.99, and these again, these are more for Tom. He's a big Office fan. We both are. He introduced me to it though. Before I met Tom, I'd never seen this. But this is the full scripts of series 1 and 2. And honestly, it's quite funny because Tom knows this inside out. And I can literally, I did it yesterday, I just opened up a page and said a couple of lines, and then he already knew what the next line was going to be. It comes with images, and it is, like I said, it's the full script that they've, even to the point where it says directions like scene 1, David Brent's office. David Brent is sitting behind his desk addressing an employee. He points at the employee. That is everything that I picked up from the shops. I think I'm going to close off the video here and stick with just keeping this as kind of like focused on thrifting, antiquing. I was going to style up some pieces, but mostly I just got books really. And I think what I might do is, like I said, have a bit of a reorganize and a cull of any homeware bits that I don't want, do a big charity shop donation, and even sort through the storage room where I can have more seasonal pieces or like vases and things like that that aren't in use in storage, and be able to kind of, I like the idea of being able to take from my storage locker to style up the house with, but to not have everything. At the minute I feel like I've just got everything out, and it's looking a bit chaotic and unorganized, and I want to make it look all curated in the spaces that I've got, like the bookshelves, coffee tables. So that's on my agenda at some point. Let me know, of course, if you'd like me to vlog doing that. I'm going to close off the video here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Again, just a reminder with Green Chef to try it out now whilst I've got the offer. Farrington at 40. I'll leave it linked in the description box below. My unique link will take you through. You can use that code. It will get you 40% off your first box, 25% off your next 4 boxes. We've loved Green Chef so far. Like I said, we are still quite new to it, so I will continue to use it. And of course, let me know if you want me to show you more and more recipes that we discover along the way. So thanks to Green Chef for kindly working with me on today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. As always, if you could thumbs up the video. If you did like this kind of style video, then it gives me an idea as to what you guys like to watch. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell on so you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you all very, very soon in my next one. Bye guys.